Hey, Marina.
Hi, Liat. In this episode, I'd like to ask you, how would you define our will?
So I would say that we have two paths of will. One
Hmm.
that comes from within us and one that comes from outside of us. And before that, I would say that everything in our life is being created through will. I like to quote from the Bible, and this world was created because it was the will of the created. And God said there will be light, and there was light. Everything that, the Creator wanted, there was a will there before anything was created. There was first the will.
Hmm.
So everything in our life, including in our personal life, um, is being created from a will. The question is, where is this will coming from? Because most of us, what we want, let's use daily words, okay?
Hmm.
What we want is what we were taught that we need to want, okay? We want
Yes.
to be beautiful according to some, the beauty
Yeah.
model at a certain
Yeah.
time, which is changing every decade or so. So,
Hmm.
we have certain standards to how we need to look, and so we want to look a certain way. We want to succeed in school in order to get to an Ivy League college, in order to get a certain degree, in order to get a job in a certain company, in order to earn a certain amount of money and live in a certain place and have a certain house and get married in the age of 30 and a half and have 2.3 kids at the age of this and that and travel the world. So we have many, many things that we want. Okay. And if you want, you'll ask someone, what do they want? They'll kind of have this list. No matter that many people, they say, well, that's what I wanted, but that's not going to happen. That's for another episode. But most of the things that we want along the way, along life, even, from very little children, is things that we received from society. Even look at kids and, they want the Nike and the Adidas and they don't know what it means, but they know everybody else have that. And they know, now they saw it on TikTok and some influencer had, so we want all kinds of things, and most of what we want came from outside of us. Okay.
Hmm.
And we go around in life and we try to achieve things because that's what we were taught we need to want and we need to achieve. And more than that, we were taught that if we achieve that, or when we achieve that, we'll be happy, we'll be uh, fulfilled, we'll feel that, we are
Successful, yes.
successful. Exactly.
According to
Exactly.
societal norms. Hmm.
Exactly. The problem is that, we live our life trying, again, we said that will and want is the power of creation, trying to create things that is actually coming from a will that is outside of us. It comes from society, from our parents. It really depends, of where we grew up. There are
Hmm.
different wills there. So we try to achieve things that are not necessary. Some of them may be, okay, but it's not even a question that we ask ourselves whether or not it is aligned with who we really are. And
Hmm.
going back to, this 12-step model that we talk about here, the Masters of Creation model for manifestation, the will, the free will, and we'll talk about the word free in a minute, is
Hmm.
only the fourth stage. Many people, when they go, to manifest and they, browse and how can I manifest this and that, the first question, what do you want, right? What do you want do you want
Yes.
a car? Do you want a partner? Do you want a body? Do you want a health?
Hmm.
We ask
Hmm.
this only on the four level.
Hmm.
And the reason is because before I even ask someone what do they want, we go to a very deep process of who they are. Like, what is their life purpose? Why are they here? We ask questions about core values, the
Hmm.
vibration that they want to live from, the vibration that they bring to the room just from being who they are, their identity. We go through all this process because before can ask someone what do they want, they need to know who they are. They need to know, what makes them tick. They need to know what is important to them, silencing everything around us.
Silencing. Hmm. Yes.
not listening to all the noises around us and what we were taught, and just going inside and ask ourselves, who am I? What do I really want? If I had no one to please, no standard to stand for, like, what do I want? If I could live my life regardless of anyone and anything else. And that's a question I don't know how many people, stop and ask themselves along their lives. And so when you do this work first, who am I? What did I come here to create? What are my core values? What is the vibration that I want to live from? How do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning, way before the car, way before the partner, way before my work, within me? For me, one of the core values is freedom, is love. Okay. So when I ask myself, what do I want? I know that it has to fulfill my value of freedom, my value of love, my value of family, as well as abundance and all other things. So before you even ask what you want, you have to understand who you are. And when you understand who you are, you go to this will part, which we said is a crucial part of creation. We cannot create without a will, without wanting something. But what I want comes from a free will, which for me is the essence of who we are here in this world. We have the privilege of having free will, which is
Mm-hmm.
free choice. Okay. I can choose how I live my life. I can choose what I want. I can choose what I want to create. So free will is the motivation. Okay, it's the engine that moves
Mm-hmm.
everything forward, but it has to come from a complete alignment of who I am and what I want to create and how I want to live my life. And when I ask myself, and I say in this part in the model, I always tell people, don't think of what is possible. Because one of the things, other than surrounding and other people's ideas and all of that, and culture, what really limits our free will is what we think is possible and possible for us. Because most of us, we limit ourselves because we say, well, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too this, I'm too that. I wasn't born in the right place and wasn't born in the right time, not in the right gender, not to the right parents, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that if a will comes from your free will, from your life purpose, from your core values, there is a way for you to achieve and create what you want, even if it looks really far away. On the other hand, if you try to achieve something that might be, it seems achievable, but it is not within your path, two things can happen. Either you won't be able to achieve it, although you really try and do everything right, so
Mm-hmm.
called. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, you may achieve it because we can also achieve, because we have free will and free choice, we can achieve things that it's not in our life path, okay? That it's not in alignment to our soul. We can achieve that. That's the essence of free will. But what happens when we achieve something that is not in alignment with our soul, with our core values, as is that we're not fulfilled and we're not
Mm-hmm.
satisfied. And that's why so many people, they are achievers. They achieved so many things. They have everything they ever wanted or thought they want, but they don't feel happy. They don't feel satisfied. They don't live joyful life because it is not what their
Mm-hmm.
soul meant and wanted to create to begin with. So it's not only, when we do work, from our higher self and our core values, we get what I call the universe support to creation, which means that the creating what our free will, what true will of the soul wants, we get support for that. It actually easier, even if it's a very grand plan, okay? It's actually easier for us to achieve what is within our path than
Mm-hmm.
something that is smaller, that is not. So we
Mm-hmm.
actually need to invest less energy and work not as hard, because as we talk, inspired action is connected to this on the
Mm-hmm.
in the other episode. But also, we will never be fulfilled. We will work hard, we'll either achieve it or not, but we won't be satisfied and fulfilled because that's not what our soul wanted to begin with.
Mhm. So, in order for a person to know that they're acting from what their free will is that if they are simply happy with what they're doing, right?
With
Is
what they're
there
doing, with what they want to achieve. Yes,
what?
exactly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Exactly.
mm-hmm.
And another
Oh.
thing, those who are listening to us and say, how will I know if it's my free will or not?
Mm-hmm,
Because everything is so
mm-hmm,
complicated and so connected now that I don't even know what I want. That's something that I hear, from people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, I don't know what I want. I lost my will so many years ago to other
mm-hmm,
people,
mm-hmm.
wills and what they want from me that I don't even know
Yes.
what I want. So what
Mm-hmm,
I'll do, and that's just a little, exercise for those that are listening, and obviously we go to much deeper processes, but first ask yourself what you wanted as a child, like what you enjoyed doing as a little child, what you dreamed of when you were young, because sometimes there are hints there.
mm-hmm,
And the other thing is asking yourself if there were, as I said before, no limitations, nothing impossible. If everything was possible, if I could create anything, what would it be? What was it? And then you get it. It's not necessarily the first answer that you receive, but if you go deeper and deeper and ask yourself and connect
mm-hmm,
all the dots, and it's connected to your life purpose and core values and everything, you will find this. The thing is that our will really want to be expressed. Okay, it's a very strong power within us that actually that's the raison d'être. That's the reason that we came here. Okay, so it's not it might be buried, under all kinds of stuff, but it's a power that wants to be revealed. So when you start asking those questions and you start looking for the answers, you will
mm-hmm,
find them because your
mm-hmm,
soul, even more than you think you want, your soul wants you to understand that and reconnect to your true will, to your free will. So when you start looking there and asking the question and detaching yourself from everything that you thought was the right thing to create and to achieve,
mm-hmm.
you'll start getting the answers.
And if you listen to our soul nudging us,
Exactly.
you might connect to your true will. I also know that you created a roadmap based on one's free will for creating reality. Can you elaborate here as well? If
Yeah, so as I said, when we go through the 12-step model, we go through obviously the free will because before that's what we need to understand in order to create what we want. But before that, we have to understand who we are, where we came from, what our soul came here to do, what's our life purpose, what our core values are. And only after that, we can ask ourselves, okay, so what do you want? And I would also say that, the free will, as the Masters VIP, our students, they go back to this over and over again as you move on, as you live your life, as you achieve many things in your list, because
mm-hmm,
that's part of what happens when you learn how to manifest. You go back and you ask yourself, okay, do I want this? Is it still right for me? More often than not, along the process, as you learn to know yourself, as you release old beliefs, as you release fears, as you release, old boundaries, you can actually get answers that you were not able to receive because there were so many blocks that were blocking you from seeing and understanding your true will even when you start the process. Because again, if you're afraid of looking inside of you and you're afraid of achieving and you got hurt in some way, for being who you are, then
mm-hmm,
the answer might take some time to reveal it because actually the protection mechanism within you is making sure you won't see this before you are ready. So it's a
mm-hmm,
process that we go back and forth and ask ourselves again. I do it, obviously I do it every year because every year we go, we look at the year that was and we look forward and ask ourselves, what are goals and purpose for the next year. And I also do it, every month. I do it basically every day. Every morning, I ask myself, okay, what do we want to express in this life and in this day? So it's not something that, once I know it, it is done, and that's like what I'm running for the rest of my life. It's actually something that is being revealed, and I would even say more than that. The more you achieve, the more you receive what you want, and you fulfill your free will and everything that you look for, you actually move forward and you see more things that you can create, more things that are possible for you. Even this podcast, okay? There was a will within me to bring this knowledge to the world, and it started in Hebrew because that was obviously more easy for me, and then I brought this knowledge, to people around me, and then only when I saw how it influences people and how strong it out was, and this model is very, very powerful. The will was born to bring this knowledge and this model to the international audience and have those podcasts in English. But I
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to dream this 10 years ago when the model was just starting, and I didn't know its impact, and before I saw how it had changed so many people's lives, and only then this will could be born. So this is a process that is ongoing. It happens again and again and again. As long as we live, the way I see it, by the way, is what makes us live, what keeps us young and alive, is having things that you want to create from your true soul. By the way, if you try to create things that it's not from your true soul, you pay prices. Okay, if you
Mm.
live long life, or you go about many years trying to achieve things that are not in alignment with who you are, that's where diseases comes, and all kinds of crises. And so when you are connected, okay, that's for me, that's the life energy that flows through us. So as long as there's something that you still want, and I went through this in the last few years when really I fulfilled everything that I ever dreamed of. I had to sit down and ask myself, okay, what else do I want? Not because I'm greedy. I'm very grateful and thankful for everything that I have. And even if I wouldn't have anything, not a dime, and not more joy and more health and more love than I have currently in my life, I will be happy and satisfied. But I sat down and I asked myself, okay, what more energy, what more life energy wants to flow through me because I'm here and I can
Mhm.
keep creating. And that's, the essence of why I came here and all of us came here to do. So what else wants to flow through me? And that's where this dream came from, and others. So the way I see it is going back and having more things that you want, more things that you want to create, more knowledge, and again, everyone, whatever you create, bring to the world, that's where life supports you, and you get more energy. And we see in older people, singers, players, people that do great things, they in their 80s and 90s, and they can still be very vital because they
Mhm.
still have purpose, they still have something that gives them life. For me, it's really understanding this. It's the energy that creates lives.
Wow. So inspiring what you just said. I'm saying, really, I mean, it's like being aware and asking ourselves every day, as you said, what do I want? What's my will today? What's my free will? I have the free choice to choose whatever I want, or I have the opportunity of aligning to this will, which is my free will, and achieving the life I want, we want. So thank you so much for this episode, Liat.
Thank you, Marina.